Alright, we start off this video with everyone's favorite sock puppet, the green moray. We've cleared thousands upon thousands of these fish and nothing else. We only kill lionfish, and we only kill them because they're bad in this area. Now we are going to give a sock puppet this lionfish. Some people say, oh, feeding these will, eventually make them want to eat the lionfish. They do want to eat the lionfish, but they know very well that if they try to attack a lionfish that is well protected, they're not going to win the fight. They're going to end up biting its tail off and get poked in the face, and that's about all they're going to get out of the deal. So once they're speared, you can sometimes hand them over, and this one's making darn sure that he's got everything situated before he swallows it. As you can see by he's just tossing it around in his mouth and chomping on it, making sure it's good and dead. Which one do we go for? If you guys know me, we're going to go for the big one. Boom. Start with the big one and then work your way to the smaller fish. And once you remove them from the area, turn on the scooter and head off to another area. We use an underwater scooter called the Tusa underwater scooter, and it actually goes between your legs and pushes you from your, in between your legs forward.
Here's a nice big eye running away from me. Now see how he was in the hole where the lionfish usually live. So in removing lionfish, we are giving those little homes back to these native species. And another one goes. Now these lionfish are voracious eaters. They don't move quickly. People say they don't look like they're doing anything, but really when they're hovering in place, they are stalking a fish. When they are just on a barrel sponge, usually they're just napping because their belly's full and they're ready. They're waiting for the next hunt.
Super duper cute. And now, which one do we get first? These invasive lionfish were just chilling. See how they're always on one side of the barrel sponge? The side of the barrel sponge that is blocking the current is where they usually hang out. The barrel sponges provide a really nice sanctuary for a lot of fish, and unfortunately the invasive lionfish has taken over most of those homes and made it so the other fish don't have a very good place to stay. So they are not only eating all of their food, but they're also taking all of their homes, making it really hard for native fish to have a chance out here. Now, this is a cool little swim by, little moray eel. We got these gorgeous angelfish. Just a good view of how the Patchouli reef looks out there in Boynton Beach. Boom! And then we get a nice big one. Not too shabby. Now, these venomous fish are extremely...
And a lot of times they are nocturnal. Check out that nice spiny lobster. The lobsters here have big spines instead of claws because they use those to kind of fight back their predators, kind of like you would do with a big claw, except for it's just a different type. Now, if you look close here, that is actually a fish. Now, these are a couple of really cool fish I'm going to show you guys. I saw him on the dive the other day. So if you look, he's moving just a little bit. That is a beautiful scorpion fish. It looks just like the ones in the Philippines that we saw. Now, this is an amazing sight. This is what you call a batfish, and it is a type of anglerfish similar to the frogfish. This thing is super rare to see on the reef. They usually a deep water fish, but the only place I've seen them here is the Blue Heron Bridge, which is only about 15 feet deep. Look at the pattern on the face. They blend in perfectly. Their fins are modified just like the frogfish, and they walk on their fins. And they have an elysium, which is their little angler they use to draw in little fish. Now this is just like a frogfish, except for a different type of frogfish called the batfish, not to be confused with the spadefish that's also called a batfish in some parts of the world. Boom, got another one. In the bucket with you. Now, we really appreciate you guys. We've been receiving donations which help us to fund these efforts and make it so we can go more often and go to farther destinations and still be able to afford to do this. Since we don't make any money actually selling them, we're just trying to recover some of the money that we spend in doing this. So we thank you so much for the donations. We have a link in our bio, so if you want to do that. Now look at the pole spear. You can see there were some bands at the end, and you saw the whole length of the spear. Now this is what we use to get the fish. It's called a pole spear. And you put that band that you just saw between your thumb and your forefinger, and you stretch it out, and then you hold onto the pole, and whenever you're ready to fire, you release the pole. Now look at the color change. So that guy was definitely stoned. he's turning very white on the other side. Sometimes you hit them and you only bilaterally stone them, so you paralyze only one half of their body. That's an interesting sight to see. Big old gray angelfish there along with his friends, the blue angelfish. Super cool to see. They use that big wide body to protect themselves from predators because it's easy to bite their head, but it's not easy to bite the big broad side of their body. So they put that side in front of an eel or a predator that might want to try to bite them. Then you have a spotted trunk fish. Look at that beauty. There's his little friend there. And that's a surgeonfish, or tang they call them. And you see that fishing line that's wrapped around everything. You'll see very commonly fishing line, old fishing line. And a lot of times if it's still connected, that fishing line will slice through all of these beautiful barrel sponges. I've seen areas where 12 or 13 are sliced in half from one fishing line. It's like a Ginsu knife. So fishing line is one of the most destructive things, because when we have things like hurricanes, if you have a lot of fishing line and one part of the fishing line is tied to a chunk of reef and the other part is free flowing tied to a piece of sponge, it'll just chop everything in half. Look at this beauty. Now I feed one more little eel here. See, he's very interested, but he's not sure. Swoosh, there he goes.